Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to build these bodies into Rhino 7 with materials and textures for the objects that you are seeing on the perspective view. So for that we are going to use the ground plane. We're going to use lights. So lights are going to be located in a place that we can use for rendering. So if you move the light, you can see the perspective view how the light is interacting with the objects. We're going to use colors and textures, and we're going to create the parts on Rhino just as we have been doing. So let's start. Let's go ahead and do new, and I don't want to save this. So let's go to new, and let's go large feet objects on feet units. Let's go for creating the layers that we're going to use for the materials. So for the layers, we're going to have the default layer, which we're going to rename with F2, and this is going to be our first part, which is going to be the door. You can start wherever you want, but the door is kind of in the middle of everything, so when I use the door for that, then I'm going to create the ground plane, and then another layer for lights, and then another layer for the curves that I'm gonna save in case I need them later. And as far as I know, we can start with this and then we can add more layers. So let's go to our door layer. For that, we're going to start from the front view, and with grid snap on, we're going to create a box. So box is going to be, we put it at 0, and it's going to be 6 feet by 12 feet, and then I don't know what is the thickness, so I'm going to say 0.5 feet. Yes, that looks okay. So that's the box I'm going to be using for my door. Then I'm going to create the molding, and for that I'm going to go to front view and create a set of lines with a polyline. So what I can do next is go create my line, then use an arc, the one in the middle, but I need to press enter before anything. So start the door, the door, the door, and then create an arc. The arc is going to be here and here, and get rid of grid snap and create of ortho, and then we can move our point freely wherever we want it. Then next we're going to create another box, not another box, on the rectangle. A box is 3 dimensions, the rectangle is 2 dimensions. We're going to create another rectangle for our molding on the inferior part of the door, and that's going to be here. And let's go ahead and see how that looks. So my curves are right there. Okay, that's good. So next, what I need to do is create the profile that I'm going to be using for the door. So let's go ahead and start our profile. So for that, I'm going to create, let's go for polyline, and the profile could be really however you want it to be the design, but I'm going to start from here, and I'm gonna go to this view, and I'm gonna keep going on this view. So shift to go horizontal, shift up to go vertically, and I'm gonna go back into the door, which I'm going to be tracing my design for the molding. So I'm gonna do an angle, a line, angle, a line, angle, line, and close. So this is a closed curve. Yes. And if I look at my perspective view, this is okay. Now the next thing we need to do is either design a new profile for the molding up here, or copy this profile and use it there. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to copy it and Control C, Control V. And the new one is going to be up here. Okay, so go ahead and click there. And now I can check my profile if it's right on the curve. Yes. Okay, so now what I need to do is create the three-dimensional part or object that is going to cut the molding. So for that, I'm going to go to Surface, Sweep One Rail, and click my rail, and then cross section curve, enter, enter. Okay, and that is my section. So if you want it to be extruding, then this is fine. If you want it to go cutting into the door, well, actually we can do that. So let's keep one extruding and the other one we can cut. So let's do right click to repeat the command. So rail, profile, enter, enter. But I need the whole curve. So, there's an error here. I need to join the curve. Yep. And then when I go ahead and do surface, sweep round rail, and choose the rail and the body, enter, enter. Now it's like that. So this is a closed poly surface because the curve was closed, the original curve. So what I can do next is I can go to Boolean operation and I can do a difference, and then I do subtract from this one, enter, subtract with, enter, and now you have it. You have the design or the shape that we're cutting into the door, and you have another object that is extruding. So you decide which one you want to do for your design. So I'm going to move this to my layer of curves in case I need them later, and I'm going to hide that layer so that it doesn't show my curves. Okay, my curves is this one. Very well. What about this one? This one is also showing the curve. So hide, select, take two curves, and show. And now how many do we have? 1 and 2, and then we can combine those. Very well. So now we have a curve, and the curves frame layer, and then we have the door with our molding. So now we're gonna generate the wall, and for the wall we're gonna do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna do a random distance, so I'm gonna go to front, I'm gonna say box, I'm gonna start from here, grid snap, so it's symmetrical. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and up to here. But notice that since I didn't start from the middle point, I started the middle point here. So let's do it again. So box, so it's here, one, two, three, and one, two, three. That's more or less where I want it. Then we're gonna generate the length, and we can go to the right view for that. So the wall doesn't have to be very thick, it could be right there. And now we have the door and we have the wall. So if you want the door to extrude a little, you can just move your wall, or you can move it this direction so it's a little bit more symmetrical, right, or that direction, etc. We can create another wall this way. So this wall was 2 squares in length. So we can do exactly the same thing. We can do a box. And we'll start here, and then here, and then we'll go 2 squares. 2. But I see what's going on. Then we have to create a rectangle first to make it easier. So rectangle from here to here to here, enter, and then solid, extrude from planar curve straight, and then we want to do this direction. How long? Really doesn't matter. We can just use the grid snap to go to this point. And then we can do, if the wall is the same, we can just do a mirror. If not, if we want a window or something else, then we can create another wall that is different. But let's do a mirror. And then it's going to be from this middle point to that point. Again, I need to create it right at the middle point. So let's go ahead and just move it to this end point. So right now I'm not being very exact, and it's because I'm more interested in showing you the features than anything else. So let's go ahead and do a move so that at least it's right on the. So we're gonna move that to. I use this point. Move this. Enter to that. Good. All right. Good. Now we're gonna join these ones. And then we have a closed solid. So let's see what we have so far. We have a room. At this point we can create a ground plane. So let's go ahead and create our plane, which is going to be used for our rendering. It's right at the bottom, and we're going to take this plane to ground plane. Okay, let's hide it for now. So we have the door and the wall, and we have solid bodies. We can have surfaces, really doesn't matter at this point, but it's nice to work with well-defined solids because then you can explode the surfaces and work with them. So at this point, I guess we can go back and generate the knob. So let's go to the door again. So let's click on this part and hide. We don't need it right now. And this, we can take it to our curves. Okay, so for the knob, we can do a polyline. So another thing that you can do here actually is you do a rectangle that you can draw wherever you want it. And then let's see where that is. The rectangle is at yeah. So the rectangle is right here. No, actually we need to set a view to rear. And it's because front and back. And it's because our door is facing this way. Good. So from here, what we can do next is we can go to our curve tools, which is up here, curve tools, and we can say, so select subgroups to extract, and we're going to extract this one, enter, and now we have an open curve there. We can say rebuild, and we're going to say 6 points, and then we can go back to our top curve and press F10, and we can see our new points that we can edit. So F10, and we can choose, say, this point, and this point, all of them, that and this. I want to select all of them, this one as well. Okay, good. So a little bit, and then only this point and this point, and do that. And I can select this curve and delete. Okay, good. Now I can join them back together and solid extract straight. And I just want to extrude a little bit. Good. So that is going to be part of my doorknob, which now we can go back to front, and in this part we can generate a circle under standard tools, circle. It could be right here, let's say right at the middle. Good. And then we can solid extrude that part straight, enter, and then we want it to extrude a little. Good. And then we want to draw the rest of the doorknob, which we can draw with a polyline, or we can use with a split interpreted line, a spline, under this tool. So we can go like here, like so. It's not as easy as I thought with that particular one. So let's go ahead and go back to that particular tool, the circle, and then let's go ahead and do tangent. And let's create a polyline. Remove the middle and the center so that I can get a tangent line intersection. And then so what I can do is do a little polyline from the intersecting point or the middle point of this circle. So we're going to use center. Let me find this curve because it's not right on top of this one, and if I want to draw a polyline on that, then what I need is on this point, okay, there, and then here I can do a curve, lit curve, and here. This one again, here and here, but with a bigger radius. So I'm gonna say 0.2 here and here. Okay, that's better. And what I can do is a mirror from the center point, mirror, and then we're going to choose the center point of the circle, straight with shift to the center of this one, and then we can create an arc with the arc tool, the one where I can choose the middle point for the arc section, and that looks okay. And then what I'm gonna do is a trim. So trim, this cutting object is gonna be this curve and this curve, enter with this curve and this curve. Very well. So now I'm going to join this one with this one with this one with this one, join, and so far I like it because then I can do a solid extrude planar curve straight, and I need to go to the right view, and I could do that. Very well, good. Later on we'll assign a material and a texture, and we can continue from there. So that's the door with the molding and the wall with the ground plane. Later we can do, now we can do the lights and the chair